Hey everyone, Boylon here, and hope you're all having an awesome day today. Just a quick update for you guys about my tech situation and that I've switched my audio over to using a microphone rather than my headset from before. I'm not sure if it's that noticeable, but if it's somehow worse, then please let me know in the comments or on Discord about that so I can have that fixed up. Also, I have a green screen on the way within the next week or so, finally, so hopefully you'll all get to see my mug in the videos coming to a YouTube near you. Anyways, we're all here to talk about Gear Tier 15 again, but this time it's going to be about the crazy amount of catalysts we need to get there. On msf.gg, they have been nice enough to release some of this information that I guess have been in the data mines or other related files in the game, and we have a general idea of what this is going to cost us, or aka how much we're going to need to farm and hoard to do this later on. So let's jump on over there and take a look at the damage. And first, I just wanted to give a quick shout out to Sir Murray, who posted this on Reddit here about the SBC, or Superior Basic Catalyst Crisis, and sort of acknowledging that there is a bit more of a crisis on some of the other catalysts. So I actually just found out for the first time reading this how many catalyst parts you actually get from clearing Dark Dimension 3. So apparently you do get 13,500 Superior Basic Catalysts after you run both runs of Dark Dimension 3, 5,400 for the first time and 8,100 for the second. Now that sounds like quite a bit, but you do need quite a few of these just to get through, you know, Tier 13, Tier 14, which will be next. So he said here that also for the other catalysts you get 6,750 of the other ones. So that's the health, damage, resistance, focus, and armor pieces. And you get 2,700 on the first time and 4,050 on the second. And we're going to get to it once we go to msf.gg, but you do need quite a bit of these overall, and almost twice the amount of the regular catalysts, the damage, health, and all that, as you did for Tier 14, for Tier 15 anyways. So it's a lot, and that can go by really quickly if you're not paying attention to who you're gearing up and who you want to take up. And I think that you're really going to have to, probably, my guess, unless it's something crazy different, that you're going to want to take up a lot of the same characters that you used for Dark Dimension 3 up to Tier 15 for Dark Dimension 4. The only thing I see being different, like I think I mentioned in my video last week, was that for some reason I kind of see this going through possibly a gear origin, possible lineage, you know, with skill, tech, mutant, and so on. I'm not sure if that's going to happen, but that's my prediction, and we'll see if that comes true or not. So if you're going to need this many characters to bring up, then it's going to be quite a challenge, and they're going to need to bring up way more avenues for farming up catalyst parts. So here, you know, I just wanted to kind of raise that here and sort of show everyone how much you get from Dark Dimension 3. I haven't actually completed myself, but I'm sure it'll be probably quite similar to these numbers. And so here we are over on msf.gg with my favorite Thanos, and that's because I have 7 red star Thanos, so we're going to be looking at him first. Anyway, so we'll see down here when we get to the actual gear section here in the corner here, how much materials you actually need to progress through Tier 14 to get to Tier 15. So as of note, this isn't 100% accurate that they say down here. They don't have access to the developer's equations, but this is very likely to be the case based on some of the files that they've seen in the data mines and some of the, you know, whatever the tech people and what they do down, you know, when the patches go live and stuff. So you can actually see some of the names, even though the picture doesn't show up. Some of these items already exist. So Superior Arcane Powder, we can already farm this. Esoteric Glyphs, this is all Mystic stuff, and Vials. So, and other things here. So Superior Focus Catalyst Parts, that's 300. And if I'm not mistaken, that's double the amount that you need from 13 to 14. 13 to 14, I think, was 150 per item, basically, not counting the unique piece. And then here it's 1,440 Superior Basic Catalyst Parts. I don't. How much was Thanos from Tier 13 to 14? 780. So it's almost, not quite a doubling, but almost a doubling of what you need. And there's some sort of new Tier 15 mini uniques that's going to be on the horizon. So you'll have to watch out for those. Who knows how they're going to release them. They might end up releasing it in the store for gold like they did for these mini uniques for 14, but we'll have to wait and see. So for Thanos, it seems that he needs 6 of something, and then 30 of what they're deeming Superior Orange Mystic Mat. So I'm assuming this is another mini unique, and I'm also Assuming this one's also some sort of mini unique, or maybe specific to a set of characters. We're not sure yet. And so we're down, these are the same items here, 420 damage catalyst parts. So that's because Thanos, I'm pretty sure, uses orange damage catalyst parts in his unique. So that's probably why they're on top of the 300 that he needs for the damage piece. So, you know, he's actually a bit on the lighter side compared to some of the other characters. So he has some purple gear, which is surprising. I think this is, what is this? The resistance piece is purple, which is surprising because most of the characters by this point use entirely orange gear. So he might need a little bit less than some of the others, but it's still a lot. So 300 catalyst parts per item at tier 14 is bonkers, you know. Even though, like I said, you get a lot from clearing Dark Dimension 3, it may or may not be enough, and you guys are really going to need, and everyone, including myself, is really going to need to be careful about who we spend our orange gear on if we don't want to be caught out when tier 15 comes around and we don't have the resources. And this happened when I cleared Fear the Darkness, aka Dark Dimension 2, and I kind of leveled up some characters that I probably shouldn't have to tier 13 because I didn't think this was going to be a problem. This was before Dark Dimension 3 was released, so some of you guys might have seen my roster before. I have characters like Rocket Raccoon, some of the Asgardians at tier 13 as well that I never bothered to take further than that, so I kind of wasted some orange gear there. So we have to make sure, you know, collectively we don't want to waste our gear on characters that we're not going to see into tier 15 and Dark Dimension 4. So looking at some of the other fan favorites, we'll look at Phoenix here. So this is the gear tier 14 Inspector. And we'll go down to the materials here, and we see that it takes 1,440 superior basic catalyst, so I think that's the same as Thanos. But then she needs 300, so 300 resistance catalyst parts, 400 damage, and then a huge increase of these other ones. So I'm assuming that one of these is like, these are the two uniques. It seems like there's only, actually there might be 3 unknown parts here, so I'm not entirely sure. If we click on one of the items here, which one actually, is it this one, the damage one? It sort of separates it into these different parts, and it seems like there are a couple of unknown things for whatever reason. So I don't know if it's going to be 2 or 3 different mini uniques for tier 15, but there are going to be new ones, and it seems like characters like Phoenix is going to require more of them than others. And so if we jump over to Black Bolt open as well, so if we scroll down here, it says Superior Orange Biomat, so I'm assuming these are mini uniques as well. 72, 32, and 40, so maybe varying degrees of different materials depending on the character. And once again, he requires 1,200 superior basic catalyst, so that's not as much as Phoenix. Was that, what was it? Phoenix was at 1,440, so Black Bolt's at 1,200, but still 420 superior damage catalyst parts, 300 focus, 300 health, 300 resistance, and I don't know where armor is, 60. For some reason, I don't know about you guys, but I have a lot more of these orange armor catalyst parts than any others. I think it's because like very few characters actually use the armor pieces a lot of, and definitely most characters don't have it in the unique either. So I have a whole lot of armor catalyst parts, but not so much on the health. I'm definitely being impacted by the health and a little bit on the focus now. Other than that, I've been trying to save up as much as I can. But, you know, even just besides the catalyst parts, it's just a lot of gear in general, you know. So Black Bolt, just to go from 14 to 15, needs 260 superior isomers. Those are like those green looking things, I think, and then 130 superior phosphates, those are the bottles, and then 88 of the superior MRIs, which are the brain scan things. So, you know, that's a lot of pieces that you need just for one character to go from 14 to 15. You know, let's not even talk about what you need to go through 12 to 13 and then 13 to 14, because I'm sure you guys, you know, have done that already, like I have. And so if you're having to start from scratch, that's a lot of orange gear. But even just going from 14 to 15 is a lot. I have Symbiote SpiderMan here. This is my last one that I have open up. And he actually requires a little bit less, 960 superior basic catalyst parts. But still just as many as the other pieces. 260 superior isomers, 130 phosphates, 300 for all of the regular items. Actually, for some reason, he actually takes 300 armor. That's surprising. And then 60 resistance, so he gets that flipped around. But then he needs 420 health, 300 damage, 300 focus. So that's a lot of orange material. So, you know, what are we going to need to do? I don't know if what we have currently is enough. I heard that the new chapter that they're going to be releasing in the campaigns are going to allow us to farm mini uniques for tier 14. But I assume tier 15 mini uniques, or whatever you want to call them, are probably going to be gated around the same way that these were. So either buy through the store, through the war store maybe, or something new coming around that they might be doing. Who knows, maybe the live PvP might have some rewards related to orange. tier 15 stuff. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see on that. But still, it's a lot of materials, guys. So you guys are going to have to save up. Don't waste it on characters you're not going to legitimately use. And you probably want to take a lot of your characters that you're using on tier 14 up to tier 15. Unless for some reason, you know, you took someone really crappy, like my Punisher, for example, unless it turns out to be a skill lane, and then maybe, you know, hey, he might be good. But other than that, you know, you're probably going to need to consider characters specifically for that game mode, and specifically ones that you use in Dark Dimension 3, so you can just take them up that way. And secondly, while we're here, I also wanted to note here that we do have the information related to level 80 as well. So I'm assuming that you're going to need level 80 to get your characters to tier 15 as well. So we can see the difference in the stats for the characters. This is Symbiote Spider-Man here. So from level 75, level 76, all the way up to level 80. Now I did some calculations on the side here, and it seems like to go from level 75 to level 80, you're getting roughly a 5 to 6% stat boost in all of the stats. I sort of calculated the totals here. Now I know it's calculating a 7 red star, but I presume that, you know, the gradual increases would be the same. So that's about a 6% stat increase for those numbers, which what I like about it actually is that it's leveling it up at a balanced rate. So all of it was relatively balanced between 5 and 6%. So it wasn't like level 71 and 74, which I believe had a huge increase in focus and resistance versus like barely anything for damage. You know, if you weren't taking them to tier 14 or whatever, there was largely no reason that you had to level up certain characters. Like, you didn't have to bring certain characters past level 71. Normally that's where I consider to be the sweet spot for most characters, but you know, if you weren't taking them to tier 14, you could leave them at 71. So in this case though, you know, if you're going to take them to tier 15, then you're going to have to take them to level 80. Now we can also see some of the stat increases when you change them to gear 4 from 14 to 15, and I did the calculations for that as well, and it's roughly between 10 and 11%. So we see that the hit points here for Symbiote Spider-Man at 7 red star level 80 jumps from 300k from 14 to about 336k at gear tier 15. So it's roughly just over a 10% increase to all of the stats. So I think that's quite a little bit less than what it was from 13 to 14. If I'm not mistaken, 13 to 14 was quite a large jump. Something like on the level of 20%, I thought. But if anyone knows the exact numbers, then feel free to leave it in the comments below. But I think it's something like that. And so what that means is we're not going to see such a huge significant increase. You guys might have seen tier 15 characters actually already in Blitz. If you have a high enough level team, you'll see a next level ring of the orange, and that actually denotes gear tier 15. So you might be already fighting gear tier 15 characters and not even knowing it. Now, knowing all of that about tier 15, what can you do about it now? And I mentioned a little bit in my video last week. I think this orange, we're going back to this ultimate shop again. I think this orange catalyst orb might actually, there might be something to it, because I wasn't pulling from this, but since they're coming up with new ways to come up with, to release tier 14 mini unique gear in the new campaign chapters to come, I think this orange catalyst orb might be important. So you actually do get quite a bit of, well, maybe not a lot, I mean, considering how much it costs, but I mean, it's another avenue of getting these catalysts. So you can get anywhere from 16 to 40 in the center for the superior basic catalysts, and on the left and right sides you get the same sort of pillars here, and you get either 10, 16, or 30 of these catalysts. And this is what I'm talking about, guys. So when I'm talking about the catalyst parts, these are the ones I'm talking about. So right now I've been farming a lot of these health catalyst parts, because I have about 350 of these, 390 of the focus, and the other ones are doing a little bit better because I haven't been needing to use them. And then armor, look at this, 1900 armor. So this was from Dark Dimension 2. When I beat it the first and second time, somebody must have really hated me because they gave me a whole slew of armor catalyst parts. I don't know if everyone else got this, or this many, but I just can't seem to use them, and I guess I'm never gonna have to farm them. But I'm definitely needing to farm the health ones though, and the focus ones. So, and you can kind of see the characters that, well, actually it doesn't matter because they all use it anyways. That was a bad example. Anyways, this is another way that you can farm that. So. Right, well, I wouldn't say farm it, but you'd eventually come into it. So another way that I wouldn't recommend buying it with gold. Honestly, I think buying any of these superior things with gold is a lot, and you're going to need to save that for level 75 to 80. We don't know the numbers of what that's going to cost. We do know how much it did cost to go from 70 to 75, and that was a lot. Like, I think it was about 2 million if I'm not mistaken. So I'm assuming it might, I don't know, 4 million, you know, maybe just a guess, you know, what it might cost to go from 76 to 80. So it's probably going to be something rough. Anyways, I wouldn't recommend buying the, you're only getting three of these damage parts for 96k gold. Total waste of money, don't do it. The only thing you should be buying out of here from the oranges are the superior uniques if you need them, and any of the mini uniques that pop up in the store. Otherwise, even in the raised store, I'm not entirely sure if you should buy it. It depends on how much credits you have saved. It's quite a lot, 1275 I think for 3. Really isn't too much. What I would recommend doing though, and I mentioned this before, is go up to whoever you have at tier who needs to farm orange gear, and you click on the health catalyst parts, and you're getting 2 at a time when you get these. So that's a terrible offer, by the way. And so I've already done actually a lot of these already. So every time you get a successful farm, you get 2 of these catalyst parts, and that's worth like what, 66k gold, because they're like 30 or 32.1k or whatever per one, and you're getting 2 of these, so that's like 64k that you're getting every time it's successful. Not to mention you get the purple and whatever the other gear that comes alongside it, and the gold. So you're actually getting quite a bit by farming these new nodes. So I do a lot of these with my extra energy. I've been primarily farming the health catalyst particularly, and the focus ones, but I would also recommend doing the catalyst on the farm on the superior basic cows as well if you need to for the moment. It doesn't hurt to have a little bit extra, because who knows, you're going to need a lot of these, and you don't know how many characters we're going to need to bring up. So if you scroll over here and you see them, I actually haven't done it for I think I was farming a lot of the health ones, but normally I would farm at least 1 or 2 of these a day. It depends on where you're at in the game as well, and how much extra energy you have per day. I'm only farming about 4 characters right now. That's 400 energy for shards. I'm actually about to finish Hela, and Colossus is around the corner at 7-star as well. So I imagine unless they add a few more characters to shards, I'm probably going to have a lot of spare energy for orange gear farming. So I definitely recommend this one, Hero 76, because it has the advanced phosphates, which, bio is sort of the new tech. So these are really well needed items. And then after that, the Nexus 8-3, because it has the advanced splice X genes, and mutant has been really popular. Mutant gear has been really popular lately, so that's another good farm too. Sometimes normally I would get, at least 4 of these per 5 attempts, but, sometimes I got as high as 12 before, so it's not a terrible drop rate. And again, these are really expensive in the store. I think if I go back, I don't know if it was in the store, were they? Yeah, they were. So 5 for 240, that's bonkers. That's, what's my math? Just under 50k, so like 45k, I think, 48k a piece, something like that. It's a lot of money. So it's just under 50k gold a piece. Why would I want to buy that with gold when I could farm it? So I normally don't recommend farming catalyst parts at all, because I never did that for purple, but I definitely do recommend it for the orange gear. And any other orange gear that you need, for example. So these superior isomers, I have 120. I don't know if you remember what the MSF GG numbers were, but I think it was something like 260 you needed to get through tier 14 to get to 15 with Black Bolt, I believe. And so I'm nowhere near that right now. So you're definitely farming orange gear, I think, is going to be the new thing. Just like how we sort of farm purple gear, it's going to be for orange gear. And I think starting now and starting early is going to make a huge difference, and going to put you ahead of the pack when tier 15 goes live. The other good thing, I guess, is that when it does go live, alongside the level increases, that it'll be staggered, I guess, because it'll take about, maybe a couple of weeks for each of the levels, so might be able to stagger both the gold that you need for leveling up characters and the gear as well. So, we'll have to see, and this is definitely only a consideration after you finish Dark Dimension 3, probably both times, and then maybe at that point, that's when you start thinking about the road forward into gear tier 15. And so that's largely what I wanted to share / say today, because it's really been on my mind lately since we heard about the eventual release of Gear Tier 15 and Dark Dimension 4. And just trying to be as ready as you possibly can and managing your resources as well as you can. I think the key to this will be farming and hoarding orange gear up, and definitely making sure you're not wasting your resources on characters you don't need to. I know when Dark Dimension 3 first came out, some people were recommending to taking characters that were cheap and mini uniques, such as like Shield Trooper and Sabretooth and stuff like that, but failing to realize how much catalyst parts were actually being used to get that character to tier 14. Knowing what we know now, I can't in good conscience recommend anyone taking any crappy characters up in that kind of orange level, because in the end, it likely won't save you any time when you actually get around to running the game mode. But that's all from me for just now, and I hope you all enjoyed my video, and if you did, please smash that like button down below and let me know what you're doing to prepare for this eventuality that is Tier 15, Level 80, and Dark Dimension 4. Also, consider subscribing to my channel if you haven't already for more Marvel Strike Force content like this. And of course, until next time, everybody, stay safe. Boilon signing out.